This episode of Outlander Cast is brought to you by MinuteWithMary.com. Of course, you're home, and you're probably not seeing that many people right now, right? But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be taking care of yourself and spoiling yourself and treating yourself. So just so you know, I've got like the best deal ever on my website. It is $450 worth of product for just $99. No strings attached. You get a smattering of all my best-selling items, and I want you to treat yourself. And this month only, in the month of April, it is going to also give you a $25 coupon. So you could check that out. I also do have my Minute with Mary Epic Mascara 40 also at minutewithmary.com/discount. But if you want to just go big, and if you're like, girl, I need to treat myself, I want the like super duper bundle that gives me everything for pretty much nothing, I got you. Just shoot us a message or search the hashtag Minute with Mary and say, Mary, give me that hookup. All the way from Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to Outlander Cast. It's a podcast dedicated to the show Outlander on Stars.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone, save that lass we are. Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? My name's Mary.
My name's Blake, and I'm alone in the podcast studio. Alone. Because, as you can tell, Mary sounds a little bit different. She is upstairs in our bedroom. For those of you listening to the podcast, drinking a Truly. I'm drinking a White Claw, as is tradition for listener feedback. Mary's breaking all the rules. Mary's upstairs in the bedroom, and I'm downstairs in the studio because a coworker of mine tested positive for coronavirus a couple of hours ago. So I have to self-isolate until I get tested. So Mary is joining us via Skype on her AirPods, actually technically mine. On her,
I can't find the base of mine, so I took out yours. And let me tell you.
What?
You gotta clean your ear pods.
So she sounds a little bit different. She's not in studio, and it is what it is. I'm fine so far. I have not tested positive. For those of you who are listening now, and if you have concerns, we're just taking extra precaution based on the knowledge that we have, and I have to take care of my bride, and I have to take care of my kids. So for those of you who are listening, and if you're going to send prayers, don't send prayers to me, send prayers to Mary, because she's going to be momming pretty hard over the next couple of days if I don't get my test results anytime soon. So
that's right. Just keep throwing peanut butter and jelly down the stairs at him.
And goldfish. Back, I say, back.
Oh my goodness gracious. It's crazy, man.
So today is the listener feedback episode for last episode. And Mary, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Are you got anything to say? Got any opening takes for this episode, Monsters and Heroes?
Oh, I am just ready to love on this episode with everybody. I'm just ready to love on it because it was so good.
I know. It's very good. My opening take is that I am pleasantly surprised at how well these past few episodes have been going. And I have to give all the credit to Matt Roberts for making, as much as I have pounded on the guy for all the decisions that he's made in the recent years. This season so far, at least within the back half of this season, he has done pretty good, man. He has done himself some. He's done himself some real favors in the back half of this season. So I'm very proud of him. Anything else? Anything else you got for this?
No, let's rock and roll, man. Let's get into this episode.
Well, before we get into the episode, I just want to say go to maryandblake.com and check out all of the podcasts that we have there. If you're self-quarantining like me right now, all you got is time. All you got is time, and all you want to do is just soak up the time. So go to MaryannBlake.com, check out all the podcasts, all the YouTube videos, all the blogs that we have there, whether it's the Hamilton podcast, it is the Gilmore Girls podcast, it is the Game of Thrones podcast, it is the Leftovers podcast, it is our parenting podcast. We got so many podcasts that I can't even keep count of it anymore, and that is that. Check us out on social media. Just search Maryanne Blake on all the social media except for TikTok, because I refuse to take part in TikTok. That's just out of principle. And that's that. Look like you got
just
something.
Out of principle.
Out of principle.
You're on a new level today.
I'm alone. I'm already feeling it, and I got nothing but time, White Claws, in a podcast studio right now. So that's what we're dealing with, ladies and gents. That's what we're dealing with. All right, so agenda free today, ladies and gents. Let's get into it.
All right.
Kicking things off, we've got Rosemary Knight coming in from the website saying, my great was the burgeoning relationship between Jamie and Raja. I just want to say, yes. Yes, Rosemary. As a book reader, I have been waiting for this great relationship to show up, and here it is. The thing that I enjoyed the most was seeing how similar these two men really are. If circumstances had been different at the beginning of the relationship, these two men would have been the best of friends. Oh my gosh, which one is that? The Fox and the Hound. When you're the best of friends. Oh, P.S. I'm taking a side note from Rosemary, which I feel like I've done before. Sorry, Rosemary. Someone wrote on iTunes for me to stop singing Disney songs.
Yeah, they said that you sound like a knock. Like, how do you, what does a knock sound like? Like, what is that?
I guess they love Disney. I guess all people who are knocks love Disney.
Marvin,
anyway.
you got to take the glasses off. You're killing me.
I'm trying to read, man. I'm blind.
Okay, all right. She doesn't look good on the screen with her glasses.
I'll just look down, okay? I'll
good. Oh, good. I like it.
I'll do this.
All right, do the face.
I'll do a James Fraser. Okay, there we go.
You gotta do the. There we go.
wait. Here we go.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Look like him now?
Good job.
Rosemary says, if circumstances had been different at the... Oh, yeah, she already said the best of friends. They have similar senses of humor, which they use to diffuse difficult situations. They will go to hell and back for their loved ones, which both men certainly have. They are both spiritual, religious men, and they both value and support strong, intelligent women. They are even related. Roger is descended from Dougal, after all. And for those Roger haters who have complained about his whining and self-pity, I would point out that Jamie has done his fair share of this in the past, and even in this episode. And I would point out that Roger's whining was that he wanted Jamie to see him as a son. He wanted Jamie's love and respect, which he achieved by this episode. I am certainly looking forward to seeing this father-son relationship grow.
What do you think about that, Marvin? You think that Roger has done his fair share to win the love and respect of one James Fraser?
Yes, I sure do. He sucked blood and venom out of his leg.
Yeah.
If that doesn't scream love,
I don't know what does.
I don't know what does.
You know what? I don't even want to have a part of it if that doesn't scream love.
Amen.
This one comes from Bro PS. She says, the log carriers inside the last episode were the Lindsay brothers. The buffalo and the bison did, in fact, roam in the eastern U.S. back then. Production found an actual bison ranch in the U.K. to shoot the herd close up, and all the shots that they have of all the real bison. They actually did go find some ranch there that has buffalo, and they shot it. Jamie is going after Bonnet not only because of Bree, but because he had let Bonnet go, and he feels the need to fix that because of the havoc Bonnet has wreaked since. Jamie and Claire's bedroom is in the parlor, not upstairs. And you're assuming that Jamie asked to be touched when the sexual touch that Claire did. She had not been touching him non-sexually all day. And what did you think of the Roger pointing out to Jamie that he was still alive? Something that pops out to me here, Mary, and I need to get your response to this, is the thing that Jamie is so intent on getting Bonnet because of his misdoings and his poor decision making as related to Stephen Bonnet. It's not that I disagree with that. I just don't think it warrants the kind of actions that he's taking because, again, I think Bree has suffered some serious trauma here directly at the hands of Bonnet. And I think she should have a say in what happens to that. What do you say about that, Mary?
I'm going to say interesting.
That's it. That's all you got. Interesting. Is it spoilerific if you say something otherwise?
Would it be better for me to tell you the truth and that I was too busy reading Facebook comments and I wasn't actually listening to what you were saying?
How to tell when the hosts aren't listening.
Yeah, not at all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We're moving on. Whistling past that graveyard, ladies and gents. Mary's been
wrote in.
Mary's been drinking the Trulies.
Saying 5+ kills for me. Woohoo! I wish people wouldn't make light of Claire's bringing Jamie back as a hand job. Whatever it took to keep Jamie breathing was a beautiful thing. And there have been hints at Claire having supernatural powers. Didn't Ottaway, hold on. My thing isn't working. Blake, can you continue reading? My iPad isn't scrolling up.
No problem. Whatever it took to keep Jamie breathing was a beautiful thing. And there have been hints at Claire having supernatural powers. Didn't Ottawahi touch on it when she said Claire would reach her full power when her hair turned white? I'm not sure if that was book only and not show. If so, I apologize. And on a side note, this week was the first time I found you guys on YouTube.
Oh, yay!
And your kitty rivals Adso for cuteness.
Aw, thanks.
Also, the bowl of maggots took me back to my childhood and the crock of mealworms that were kept from the dining pleasure of my mother's reptile pets. Love you guys.
Bro.
Thanks for keeping us happy and stay well.
Got the iPad working. On Facebook, we have Rhonda Martin chiming in saying, I think Ian's blow up was really accurate. He was upset and probably scared and worried that Jamie was going to die. I completely agree, Rhonda. I stand with Ian and his choices of calling out Jamie as being an absolute fool for feeling that he would rather die than have his leg amputated.
I totally agree. I mean, at first, like I said, I was a little upset with it, but it actually makes sense now. Specifically because he doesn't know if he is going to die or not, or lose his leg or whatever. So he's got to call him out a little bit. We have a listener here saying, yes, hand jobs are in fact beautiful things. Yes, they are. I was going to say only if it's done right. Oh, Mary did not hear that joke. Thank God. All right. Moving on, ladies and gents. Megan Kirkland says, Jamie must have a great scar manager. The bullet scar from season 1 and Blackjack Randall's brand. I loved the attention to detail. That was actually something that I noticed myself, was the brand from Blackjack Randall on his rib. It was that pinkish mark. It was a really cool. That was a really cool thing. You are looking like a sexy librarian right now, Mary.
Do you like my arm out? I'm trying to channel my newscaster.
Mary, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, Mary is joining me on our screen in our studio in the background here, so I can see her, and she's doing all the great modeling techniques, and it's actually kind of sexy right now with the glasses and how she's looking.
It's all about the angles.
All about the angles right now. All about the angles. So that's that. Jennifer Champion says, concerning Bree and Bonnet, Claire wouldn't have gotten attacked. Leslie wouldn't have gotten killed. Bree wouldn't have gotten raped. Jamie feels responsible for all of that happening, and he's trying to make things right. Mary.
Yeah.
I ask you again, because this is the same exact question. Is Jamie right in channeling all of his efforts into getting Stephen Bonnet without Bree's consent, given all the things that have happened because Jamie allowed him to survive?
I mean, but now Bree knows. Now he knows that Bree knows.
Right, but it's not, she hasn't given consent to be like, yes, she made her choice. She let the guy, she said whatever she said. Should Jamie really ask Bree and say, hey, what do you think? Or
no,
you don't think so?
Jamie can do whatever he wants. No, I think this is really yes, major lifelong impact had happened to Bree. Mm-hmm. One of aside from Leslie dying, people's lives being severely impacted the most, Bree. But really this involved Jamie's whole family, and Jamie is such a protector, and he can't have this guy. And now the whole thing with Riverfront, no. As a tourist, he's going to go out there, and whether Bree is involved in the plan making or not. And this is the other weird thing. Nobody has brought up Claire. Claire's been in on this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Claire's been in on the plan, and she hasn't brought it up to Bree. And yet everybody's like, either, shaming Jamie for wanting to do these plans and not bringing it up with Bree. But remember, her mom hasn't even talked about this. Her mom hasn't brought up that Bonnet's still alive, that they've laid this whole thing out. So I think that as parents, they're just trying to make sure the whole thing is thought out,
Mm-hmm.
and that they can take care of it. But yeah, I think that, it's not like Jamie's just going rogue.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing this hand in hand, actually, with Claire.
Yeah, Claire's doing it hand in hand. Sorry.
You're welcome.
That's what she said.
Sorry. Jeffrey, get out of here. Yeah, I've tested potentially for Corona. Leave me alone, Jeffrey. Sorry.
I think you're so loud I can actually hear you all the way up here.
Jeffrey Hirsch comes into the studio all the time. I tell him the security guy here ain't no good. We gotta find somebody else. Everybody's saying Jamie is gonna do what he believes is right. No one can dissuade him from what he feels is his duty. And then another listener says, "Oh, for goodness sake, Jamie does not give two craps about her consent." LOL. Is that the right thing to say, Mary? That Jamie just...
He'd care, but this is so much bigger than Bree. That's what I'm trying to say, is that
Mm-hmm.
there were other people implicated, and this was what he sees as his fault.
Mm-hmm.
That he is the reason that Bonnet lives, that this is his mess to clean up.
Yep, got it. Let's see. Bonnie Vaughn says, Mary and Blake, can you please explain the anchor circles in the stars in the corner of your video feed? Looks like an image on the video feed versus my wall. My maiden name is also Anchor, and their dad was in the family were in the Navy. Do you have any connection to the image? Well, yes, as a matter of fact, we have a very significant connection to the image because, one, that is the logo for our company. Mary and Blake Media, and also that is we kind of aped it a little bit from the state of Rhode Island, because that anchor with the stars is the main focal point of the Rhode Island flag, and Rhode Island is where we are from. So we kind of did a play on things and kind of took it as our own logo. So that is why in the corner right here you see an anchor with all the stars. That is that's our company logo and part of the logo for the state of Rhode Island.
My mom was in the Navy.
Her mom was in the Navy. That's right. Mary's mom's a badass. She don't mess around, dude. She don't mess around. She's got everything under control. Everything. She's making her own food right now.
She's growing her own victory garden.
Oh man.
She's making me like a beginner one because I don't know how to grow anything. And she's like, well, listen, if you read all this Outlander stuff and you don't know how to grow anything yet, I'm going to teach you. Mm-hmm. But remotely.
From afar, from at least 6 feet.
No, my mom doesn't even do 6 feet. You know that, Blake.
Oh, that's right. All right, Mary, what do you got on Instagram?
Instagram, we have Gin Berries, who said, I haven't done one of these for a while. This episode moves me to give it a 4.9. My GBG, Are My Great, was the Claire and Jamie scene where she thinks he is dying and lays on him. This struck me so personally. When my husband died, I was unable to see him. The unsaid goodbyes in my head are crushing. Ugh. This was so beautifully done. The grief on Claire's face was so painful to watch. My good was, can I just stop here, Gin Berries? I'm so sorry. She was unable to see him.
Yeah, that's...
Gin Berries, I'm just giving you the biggest virtual hug right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her good was Ian's message to his uncle as he chose death over his leg and pride. Ian went away a boy and came back a man. My bad, which isn't really a bad. We need way more Caesar Domboy on the screen. He lights up every frame he is in, and especially when he speaks. He is sorely underutilized. This actor is so brilliant as Fergus. The truth and depth of his character. I believe always more Fergus. Agreed. Agreed, Gin Berries. As a side note, Roger's remainder a reminder that Jamie will not be dying after the snake bite as long as they know how he dies was a nice, timely reminder that even though we know it, we will not be losing him. The mutual respect awarded was good to see. It was getting a little tiring watching our king of men being so unfair to Roger. I'm off to find some under-eye cream for these puffy eyes. Thanks for reading. Oh, you're welcome, Ginberries.
You're welcome.
Thank you for writing in.
Thank you very much. Nilsa Vasquez on YouTube comes in here and says, hey, I was in the Navy too, 8 years. Well, thank you for your service, for being in the Navy.
Yes, thank you.
And then another listener here says, I knew that Jamie wasn't going to die, but I still cried with Claire. It felt so real. Mary, your opinion on this, you obviously knew that Jamie wasn't going to die. We all knew that Jamie wasn't going to die. And even the characters, specifically Roger, knows that Jamie is not going to die, given the way that history has written itself. My theory on that is that it doesn't matter if Jamie's going to die or not. It's the journey of what has happened to Jamie, number one, how that has affected his relationship with Roger, number two, and the real drama lay in the fact that potentially Jamie could lose his leg.
Yeah.
That is what is most, and that was the smart thing behind these decisions. It wasn't about death, because we all know that he's the main character. The main character ain't going to die. Not going to happen. But he could lose his leg.
Agreed.
And a precedent has been set of limb losing within the framework of the show itself.
Yes, and it's very common. It's a thing that people can go on to live with. Exactly. And also, how does this trauma affect him? You know, we've been able to see how his trauma through the hands of Blackjack Randall has affected him. We've been able to see how the trauma of Bree being raped has affected her. So I think that that's one of the really interesting things that that we get to see is not only how it affects him, but how it kind of has this ripple effect through each other, through the family unit. So I agree. You could sit there and you can say, I know he's not going to die. Even as I said, you know, as you said, as a show watcher, you know, most likely James Fraser is not going to die. But the fact that, yes, there is this element that he could lose a leg, or it could be something that sorely damages him and his family in one way or another.
Right. This one comes from LoriEllen on Instagram. She says, what I loved, number one, Jamie to the Roger able-bodied you are. And number two, Claire's shaking hand when she picks up the scalpel. I have read the book, but I swear she was going to cut off his leg. And that's great acting in my book. Number three, Claire in the color blue and the use of blue throughout the episode. Did you notice their bedroom is blue? Blue is the color of healing, and the healing episode in the bedroom was intense. It was a fabulous scene. Number four, I'm cold, Sassenach. Touch me. Touch me before I sleep, Jamie says. Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ. Again, I have read the book, and for a heartbeat, I thought he was going to die. Especially after Sam's post on Instagram the other day. Seriously, Sam is a phenomenal actor. And what I missed or would have liked to have seen, which was this. One, Roger touching Jamie's shoulder the night he got bitten by the snake. He sat for a long time, his hand resting on Fraser's shoulder. He had the absurd thought that he was somehow holding Fraser, keeping him anchored to the earth. If he had held on till sunrise, all would be well. If he lifted his hand, that would be the end, which comes from chapter 90, Danger in the Grass and the Fiery Cross. Number two, I would have loved the book version, no matter how gory, of Claire and Bree taking down the buffalo with the hatchet and the bone saw. I missed seeing that epic book version where Bree comes into the surgery room covered in blood and gore, holding a fistful of maggots like a trophy of war. But overall, I watched the episode 4 to 5 times now. I still cry every single time. Mary, I got to tell you, would you have been happy with the gory version of this from the book, or were you happy with the way that it was done?
There's some things I don't like when it comes to gore, I don't like things spurting. You know, if it's just like covered, I'm better covered. But if it's like an incision and things are spurting out, that's when I really can't stand it.
Yes.
If it's like something is bloody, I can handle that a little bit better.
Sure. Another thing too is another thing I like.
Is that even like normal? Like, is there anyone else listening that is like, oh yes, I agree and I understand?
Another thing that comes to my mind too is I like the fact that they used a rabbit again, because this rabbit imagery keeps coming through in the show, whether it was the rabbits earlier in the seasons, like the rabbit in season 3 that walks around Jamie, or a rabbit that is Bree's favorite bunny or whatever it was. And then the rabbit again, like there's a lot of bunny imagery happening here. And it all seems to be circling around Jamie's mortality and keeping him alive. And since it's so closely related to Bree, it's actually really sweet that it's the bunny that provides the maggots that helps not necessarily keep Jamie alive, but it helps his mortality in a sense. So I kind of like that imagery there. What do we got from the emails, Marvin?
Okay. I just love that you were like excited about the imagery of a dead bunny. We'll move on from there.
I love dead bunnies.
Stephanie said, "Whew, Lord, this is a great episode. I am here for the Fraser family fun times. Jamie walking in on Bree and Roger's morning delight had Stephanie screaming. Fergus and Marcelly were hilarious and cool as always, and Ian and Roger got to finally stand up and be the men Jamie wanted them to be.
Hi-yo.
And yeah, the animal CGI was a little rough. For me, the snake was the most cringy. But like Mary said, it's a TV show. They did their best. To me, the best thing about this episode was the way they flipped the script. We got to see the King of Men be vulnerable and scared and selfish when he had himself a pity party and declared it'd be better to die than live without a leg. And we got to see Ian stand up and get in his face and make him realize his importance and value, even if he loses a part of himself. We got to see Roger comfort him, pray over him, and drag him down the mountain. When Roger teased Jamie at the end and pointed out that he was, in fact, still alive, it wasn't just funny. It was cathartic. Jamie finally saw Roger for the man he was and respected him for it. Likewise, we got to see Claire worried and scared and ultimately get through it with the help of her girls. Marcelly bucked her up and kept her focus, and Bree held her in her arms when she fell apart. Ultimately, this episode wasn't just about Jamie and Claire's love for each other. It was about how that love has given them exactly what they always wanted, a beautiful, powerful family. Jamie and Claire had a hand in raising all these kids, and this week they got to see the fruits of their labors. Bree and Roger and Ian and Fergus and Marcelly and even Lizzie, who stood between Jemmy and the bison and screamed until Bree and Claire ran out. They're not kids anymore. They're fully formed adults, each of whom has finally found their role and proved they're not only willing to throw themselves in harm's way to protect their family, they'll also stand up and speak the truth even when their parents are falling apart. I loved every minute of it. I hope that I'll be a successful parent as the Frasers have been. Oh, man!
Makes me wanna shout.
Excellent stuff. Yes, yes, yes. I see, Mary, we can even still celebrate the outstandings floors
Remotely.
apart from each other. Floors apart
We
from each
can,
other.
baby.
Yeah, no, that is excellent stuff. And one of the things that keeps coming into my brain as we watch this show, especially as we saw the wedding in the first part of the season, and as people are going about to find maggots to help Jamie, I keep thinking that the show and the story of Outlander, yes, it is. I think the root of it is obviously Jamie and Claire. That's why I'm here. That's what I really care about. But it's about their whole solar system now. It's about how things orbit Jamie and Claire. Without them, none of this is created. None of these people are together, and they are the center of this whole fiefdom that they've created. It's just like you're looking at it as like proud parents of an entire community that is based solely on their creation. Which is an interesting dynamic for a show like this, because largely you see in many shows as of late a bunch of people who have no real relation coming together and either making changes in their lives or making changes in other people's lives. Yet, in this case, we have a whole group of people who have a sole commonality, which is Jamie and Claire. And how do they operate within that orbit? Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. What do you got from Chelsea, Marvin?
Chelsea wrote on in and said, I wanted to shoot you a quick message to clarify the handy, as Blake refers to it, because after reading the script provided by Stars, there was some clarification provided that I think is very interesting to note. Claire knew Jamie was fading fast. His heart rate had dropped below what was perceptible to her touch, and his breathing had stopped completely. With basic science and general knowledge in hand, pun intended, says Chelsea, she made the split-second decision to arouse him, hoping it would increase his heart rate and warm his body enough to keep him alive. I know everyone doesn't read the scripts, and I always find them a wealth of information whenever I have questions regarding the show's decisions and portrayal of certain events. I hope that this was informative for everyone, because I know that there were a lot of questions after that one. Thanks, Chelsea.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We have a commenter here saying, I do have to say I'm finally on the Roger train. He was finally accepted by Jamie, and he started acting the role of a son-in-law. We really got to see Roger's personality for the first time since finding himself through the stones. His quick wit, intelligence, and humor was great. And the fact that Jamie calls him Professor is a respect that he finally earned. And
agreed,
with
Laura.
me as well. Yes. I totally agree. I think that's excellent stuff. All right, this one comes from Rebecca. She says, upon second viewing, I still don't like episode 509, Monsters and Heroes. I want to say that for someone like me who is a bit by the book kind of gal when it comes to adaptation, I've only read Outlander, I'm shocked I would even feel the way I do in regards to this episode, because I really do get that it was a moment the book readers were waiting for and loved. And I've seen that Diana really loved this episode too. But in my opinion, all that happens in the episode between Roger and Jamie is misplaced. This is one of those times I feel like the show could have done something different, like they have in the past. I just think for great television, it would have been better suited earlier on in the season, maybe after 504. To see Roger and Jamie have the real connection now just feels random. Again, we needed it sooner. I appreciate that the show was following Diana's writing and not completely ignoring what she did with her story, but they've done it before for great television, in quotes. Why not do it now? Marvin, I pose that question to you. Why not do it later, or why not do it now? Why not change the story to better suit the better version of a television story as opposed to just adapting what Diana wrote? Do you think they made the correct choice in evolving Jamie and Roger's relationship later on in the season as they are now, or should they have done it earlier on in the season to make it a more meaningful, lasting relationship between the two for longer in the season?
I don't see how they could have done it differently. There would have been so many other points and bits that would have changed. I mean, think about it. Had Roger and Jamie had this near-death experience, would Roger have stood up and, said that he would go and do what he did at the Battle of Elements and then almost die himself? I think that we needed to have these moments of difficulty between he and Jamie for a while. We needed to feel that tension, because sometimes that's what it's like. There are people that you just don't jive with, right? And you're like, nope, they're not my soul sisters. They're fine. They're fine. Like Jamie thinks Roger's fine, right?
Yep.
And it's not until you have these momentous moments where you get to see parts of their character that you didn't get to see before. You get to see parts of them that you really connect with. And like a previous listener wrote in, both of these men actually have a lot in common. And you got to see that in this episode. You got to see them connect through their humor, through their spirituality, through their passion for their family and for protecting their family. We get to see Roger be physically strong and take care of James Fraser, the man, the king of men. So I think that, to me, it would have been, I don't know how they would have done it differently. And I am biased because I do, have the sight of knowing, how things worked out in the books. And so I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this episode the way that it was and where it was.
Yep. We have a listener here saying both of their near-death experiences played a role in this evolution of their relationship. And I honestly could not agree any more with that sentiment. Yes, could you have made their relationship a little bit better earlier on in the season? Better yet, could you have made their relationship more effective in previous seasons? Yes, you probably could have. The issue that I have here is that I think the way that it was portrayed within the show, the emotional math adds up for me. And it feels as if that relationship has been earned. It wasn't just given to us. It wasn't just said, here you go, there it is, they get along now, yay! It had to take a shift, a complete shift in interpretation from Jamie. It had to take a complete shift in existence for Jamie in order to appreciate what Roger brings. Not only does he have to accept Roger through the lens of being a fellow clansman in this case, but through the lens of being a father, through the lens of being a father to Brianna. Is this guy good enough for my daughter? We all know how Jamie holds his daughter in high regard. And we also know that he is insecure about his relationship with Brianna, that he doesn't feel like he has a good enough relationship with her because he's never been there for her when she was growing up. So as someone who's trying to make up for that inequity, he's holding her to a very high standard, and anybody that is involved with her to an even higher standard. So when it comes to
this, one of the big things that we have to keep in mind is that I think the show hasn't given Roger his due. Mm-hmm. The show has kind of made him this. It hasn't made him the man that book readers know him to be. And because of that, he's not the man that book readers know him to be, even for Jamie to see.
Right.
The show has just really in the previous season, has just downplayed his character, downplayed, just the scope of who he is, and hasn't necessarily helped people who are show watchers fall in love with Roger. Yep. And because of that, we haven't seen Jamie fall in love with Roger the way that we would have hoped he would have, or the way that he had in the books.
Yep.
So yeah, I can see on one hand, we haven't seen that relationship. So it would have been nicer for it to have happened earlier on in the television season. So we could have had that bromance
absolutely
blossom a little sooner. It's just, this is how they've done it. And I enjoyed this episode. And this is where you have to kind of step back and say, okay, did it work in the show?
Right. And this is something too that we also talked about, Mary, at the beginning of this season. You could tell that they were going to do some pretty serious triage on Roger, and they were going to do some things on Roger that needed some specific attention in order to make the viewer care for him. These things may have transpired in the book the way that they're transpiring in the show, but we're also talking, I think, about a heightened reality within the show as it compares to the book, where things are either stretched out a little bit more, or they're made a little bit more they're made bigger and more like caricatures of themselves, like Jamie's anger with Roger, or his like ways of dismissing Roger. It gives you that early sense of, I feel bad for Roger. Immediately, you get an immediate, I feel bad for Roger. I can't believe I feel bad for him. Jamie is doing him dirty. It's because it's been heightened for the sake of television, so that it does some serious triage on that Roger character to make us care about him.
But now here we are at the end of episode 509, and I feel like we're in a much more level playing field of how we're supposed to be feeling about these characters.
Absolutely. And
finally.
That's the beautiful part of what they did by heightening the reality within the show, by making us care about Roger, so that when he does get hanged and we see the results of it and how that evolves with Jamie's understanding of Roger, it makes so much more sense. It's way better than just continuing to go on the train and on the tracks that they were doing. It just wouldn't have made sense. All right, Marvin, are you ready for the voicemails?
I sure am.
Let's do
see
it.
How this goes remotely.
Let's see how it goes.
Hello, Mary and Blake. This is Veronica from Sunnyvale, California.
Hey, Veronica.
I'm giving this episode 5 kilts, plus a sporran, a brooch, and I'm going to throw in a pair of leather boots just for good measure.
Atta girl.
Nice.
My good is the bedroom scene in the beginning of the show, Roger calling Bree a sadist. Jenny, of course, picking out the only bad word to enjoy repeating.
That's how they do.
And Jamie wins the prize for being the worst father-in-law ever. My better is the great adaptive choice of having Ian get in Jamie's face and call Ian Murray Sr. a hero. It almost felt like Stephen Cree did make an appearance this season after all. And my grade is where I don't even know where to begin because there were so many grades. But I will go with, again, another great adaptive choice of having Roger pick up the head of the snake. Then we see Jamie eating a piece of the snake and joking or trying to joke that fair is fair. And then at the end, we have that particular snake become the tool for the cure. And Roger says back to Jamie, fair is fair. And the greatest was all the wonderful book dialogue and banter and fantastic performances by all. Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you, Veronica. That's some good stuff. Good book ending there with the fair is fair and the snake. The snake is the one that causes all the problem, and then eventually the snake is the one that fixes the problem at the end. It's almost like this was professionally written, Marvin. What do you think?
Hey.
Hi-oh.
Hello, Mary and Blake. This is Andreina from Port Coquitlam, Canada, and I'm leaving a comment regarding monsters and heroes. Every episode since Perpetual Adoration has been more emotionally affecting and more beautifully written, and this one was no exception. I particularly love, the truth, the hard truth that were spoken during this episode, and I think it's a lesson that is fitting for the moment that we're living. Confronted with death, Jamie speaks the truth to Roger, starts to give instructions about what to do after his death. Bree speaks truth to Roger. Ian speaks truth to Jamie, and Fergus to Ian. So I found that very, very important and very beautiful. It was also extremely sad. When we see a loved one suffering, we want to do everything we can to comfort them. And this is what Claire finally does when she has to bring Jamie back from death. She could use no more science. She could only use her love and her compassion. And I think it's so fitting for the moment that we're living, where we just need to be more compassionate, caring, kind with each other, and carry each other through the suffering that we're living right now. Thank you so much, guys. I really love the podcast and just thank you.
Well, you are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Mary,
I loved her accent. I loved the way she said truth.
Yes.
She said it multiple times, and it was just such a beautiful. I feel like I need to listen to her calm me down at night. God, her voice was lovely.
Should she do some ASMR as well?
Not ASMR. Just tell me a story.
just talk. Read the phone book, will you?
Read the Velveteen Rabbit.
Mary, she also brings up a valid point here, and it's something I think we talked about last podcast, but I really want to get your opinion on it, which is the irony of Claire, the scientist, the one that's a doctor, the one that puts her faith in science, a woman of faith. A woman of science, finally just resorting to everything but science and medical advice, and just sitting there and holding the person that she loves, using love and compassion to revive him. Do you enjoy that kind of irony?
There was some scientific reasoning in her mind, but exactly. Claire's got some magic hands, guys. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Claire's got a little.
I'm going to stop making hand jokes.
No, you don't need to. But, as Chelsea wrote in, even, just the knowledge that this could be something that could also raise his heart rate, raise his body temperature, between the love and the physicality of what could possibly happen. Hey, she brought the king of men back to life. Let's thank her.
All right, let's do the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Marsha from Columbus, Ohio.
Marsha.
Monsters and heroes.
Blake.
5+ kilts is what I give this. It was all about character development, and I loved it. My good, the Roger Jamie bromance. Blake, it's a good thing you're on the Roger train because you would be left behind, my friend, because Jamie is now the conductor. My better, Jamie's 3 sons, the legacy that we see being developed. Fergus, stepping up as, father and husband and, and then friend, and the reference to when his hand got cut off and how he really appreciated Jamie in that moment, and Roger coming through to comfort Jamie and Jamie being able to acknowledge that, and Ian calling Jamie out. I thought it was just such a tender moment. But the best, of course, is Sam Heughan.
Yeah.
Other than my one little bad, the heavy breathing. Sometimes it was so distracting, it was hard to stay focused on what was going on. And talking about focus, but damn, the man is sexy even when he's on the brink of death. Hair in the face, shirt off, then sweating. So my gosh, we could just see his ripping pectorals. Lord have mercy. Have a great week, guys. Be safe.
Yeah, thank you. We're trying to be safe as best as we can.
Blake, you doing the Marsha thing. She must hear that all the time.
Hey, that's part of the gig. It's part of when you got a name like Marsha. That's that's just part of the world that you live in. It is.
It's, as I said, it's like when people say, "Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow?"
Part of the gig.
Terribly. I've got a brown thumb.
Part of the gig. You know it. That's your automatic response. That's part of the gig.
I roll my eyes. Poor Marsha's going to listen to this doing the same thing.
Somebody says, "I think hand jokes are going to get us through Droughtlander." Yes.
Love it.
Yes, they may. And then we all has another listener here saying, when you are that deep in medicine, you realize that there are things beyond science, sometimes that cannot be explained. Yes, I agree. Sometimes some things just cannot be explained. All right, let's do the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Eliza. From Georgia. Wow, I give episode 509 5 kills. Sam's acting is amazing. He is smoking. It's very Scottish to get out of your deathbed and generally be ornery. The relationships are popping. We get so much character building. I really miss Mrs. Bug, though. I think she's only had one line this entire series. I've been rereading. This point in the book is where they do the Skeleona bit with the bear killer. I really miss how the First Nation people are buds, requesting Jamie, Ian, and Claire to come help out, trade goods, and just generally hang. So far, we've seen them only in bad times, except for Nyawene, and I forget her show name. I'm guessing when Ian tells a story, we'll get the other side. To me, it seems like we're being PC, avoiding conflict. I really love these people. They have such a rich culture. So far, they just terrify me in the show. You can't have a proper relationship on fear. You need mutual understanding and respect for another person's culture. Jamie and Ian are constantly showing similarities between Highland culture and the First Nation people. And I hear you, Blake. The book is the book and the show is the show. I just feel like they're missing this great opportunity. I can't get enough of Ian, Fergus, and Marcelli. They're amazing. For the first time this week, I realized that I really love Bree now, and Roger is just doing great. Yep. Anyway, until next time, slange.
Well, first, Eliza, as always, I have to play. Here comes the General Washington. You're welcome. And also...
I don't even know what my movements just were as I danced to that one.
And Eliza, just, welcome. Welcome on the Roger train, because I may not be the conductor, but I'm at least in the caboose. I may be hanging on with one foot, but I'm still on it.
I think you're in the snack tram, wherever that one is.
Yeah, sure. Okay, having a White Claw.
Anything from the trolley.
Anything.
You're a wizard, Harry.
That's where you are. From the snack trolley.
Where are the chocolate frogs? All right, let's get the next one.
Hello from the Highlands of Scotland. It's Kirsten Ling here.
Hey, Kirsten.
Take on the episode. The good. All the gallows humour and banter used by Jamie and Roger in this episode is typically used by us Scots in times of hardship and tragedy to keep folk from walling in self-pity. The bad. Deathbed diddy-diddling. Although it's beautifully acted and a moving scene between Jamie and Claire, it does feel inappropriately keen. Claire seems to have misunderstood her CPR class and resorted to TPR, Todger pooling resuscitation, instead. Mind, all my hubby needs to be roused from the brink is for a sweetie candy wrapper to be rustled in his vicinity. The great. Ian's delivery of some hard home truths to his uncle were a necessity, and I appreciated them. As my hubby lost a leg in an accident aged 5, it was amputated to save his life. While we both see Jamie and Ian's point of view, from my experience, facing such an ordeal does take great courage and actually makes more of a man and not less. Cheerios for me.
Kirsten, wiser words have never been spoken, and I think that's the thing that Jamie realizes when he says to Claire, you gave me a word, you can have it back. It's something that he appreciates and realizes, I'm better off living and better off doing the things that I need to do in order to move forward. And it does take the courage to go ahead and live without a limb. Would you agree with that, Mary?
Yes. I mean, I don't personally know, but I agree.
Yes. All right, let's get the next one.
Janine from PA here.
Hey, Janine.
So I watched the episode twice, and it was good, but it felt like one of those filler episodes. Last week was so good that this one paled in comparison. I think we can all agree, though, that Jemmy needs to get his own room, or at least a curtain. Yeesh. I'm glad Roger and Jamie got to bond. I just didn't think it would involve Roger vampirically sucking the blood out of Jamie's leg. Cue the spider monkey sound effect. FY, though, sucking the venom out doesn't really work according to science, but y'all know what they say about stats.
Stats of the nerds.
It still blows my mind that Claire only had one syringe. You're a doctor. You couldn't picture yourself using more than one? Go into town, find a metal worker and a glass blower, and make some more. At least a dozen, please. And Jamie was being a big chump this episode. I could have slapped a dying man for saying that he would rather die instead of losing a leg to a boy whose father was an amputee. Jamie, we're going to have a talk about being PC. I'm glad young Ian stuck it to him. We also need to talk to Claire about not giving people with blunt force trauma full wellness checks. I mean, did we even check to see if Brianna was okay? Did we not learn anything with Angus? At least now we know how to resuscitate a man on his deathbed. Just reach down and yell, clear. Man, I really wish I could have seen Fergus deliver that baby one-handed with two kids running around. Or maybe Claire was right and Marsley did it herself and was like, oi, Fergus, catch. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks, guys. See ya.
I realized, Mary, that we didn't make one single Twilight joke with Roger sucking the blood out of Jamie's leg. And isn't that also where what's his name sucks the blood out of Kristen Stewart?
He does. Edward sucks it out of Bella's leg.
That's right.
Say it.
He's like,
out
I
loud.
need to stop.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's too good. It's too good. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. That's just...
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You know what? This is for all of us.
Nerd!
You're welcome.
And seriously, like, Bree just, like, rolling off that buffalo, man. She took it like a champ.
Yeah, right. Why did she not check Bree? I mean, like, yes, but didn't we learn anything from Angus? Like, big head trauma? Like, by the way, get your Bree being trampled over by a buffalo shirt on the Maryanne Blake store with the title that says "Not Great, Bob." which is a play.
I can't believe you made that.
Which is a play.
I can't believe you made that shirt.
Which is a play on multiple levels because the CGI was not great, Bob, and the situation was not great, Bob. So,
and the shirt is not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
You're welcome, ladies and gents. Go to the Maryanne Blake store and get your Not Great Bob t-shirt. All right, ready for the next one?
That's what you should wear for the finale.
That's exactly what I'm going to wear. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are keeping score, I have come up with some multiple designs for the potential finale party T-shirt that we discussed last episode.
Okay.
So they're coming through the design process. Me and the nerds down the hall are working on it, and we're going to come up with something pretty soon. So look for that in the Maryanne Blake store. I'll come up with an announcement relatively soon. All right, let's do the next one.
Hi, Maryanne Blake. It's Sharon calling from Chicago, giving this episode a 5.
Hey, Sharon.
My best was the conversation between Jamie and Roger, simply because, not only was it wonderful, but Jamie laid down the theme of the coming episodes, if not the series. And it's all about family and protecting one another. And we're really getting that payoff now. My bad was the bison, kind of hokey. I know stats are for nerds, but bison aren't going to wander from their herd all that way. I used to be a park ranger, so it was a little bit and my good was Claire's reaction on the steps when she thought about taking Jamie's leg. That was just just made me cry. Poor Claire, having to even think of severing the leg of the one that she loves more than anything else, knowing she's going to have to do it. I have an outlandish theory.
All right, hold on. Wait. Hold on. We got to play it.
Okay.
All right, Sharon, what do you got?
Did not have custody over their children until the 1900s. It was fully the father to take care of the child, to own the father. You could take the child away. And Bonnet has witnesses that saw him rape Bree, and Bree even told him, told Bonnet that Jemmy was his.
Oh, yes.
He's no longer an outlaw now, and he has the law in his pocket. And I think he's going to force Roger to be okay with killing him because according to what's going to be, I predict that Bonnet is going to try to get custody of Jemmy and take hold of River Run.
I like it. As a matter of fact, I am going to play this right away. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's a winner right there. I like that a lot.
That's not an outstanding. Do winners come like when something comes true, or is winner like whenever?
The winner is when something comes true, and the outstanding is just something that's generally awesome. But the winner is when you get something right. By the way, I should be playing the winner bell pretty much every podcast episode because pretty much every single one of my outlandish theories have come true so far. Pretty much. We'll see. No response, ladies and gents. No response.
We will see.
Yeah, that's it is what it is. Okay, here we go. Let's get the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Kathy from Cleveland, calling with feedback on episode 509, Monsters and Heroes. I'm giving this episode 4.8 kilts. It was a good, really cohesive episode, but not even close to 507 and 508.
Yep.
My good? I am just loving Ian. John Bell is killing it, and he absolutely nailed it when he told Uncle Jamie what he needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
My bad? There were a few places where either the writing or the delivery was just off and took me out of the moment. The worst for me was Claire's beautiful engineering indeed after using the snake fang syringe. They didn't think an entire conversation earlier in the episode was enough for us to figure out that Bree is an engineer at heart. And you made the wise choice sounds like a weirdly impersonal thing to say to the love of your life who just told you he's decided he's not going to die. But I love the books, but I've never been a stick-to-the-books viewer. That said, I think they did an incredible job maintaining faithfulness to these events in the books, even where I wasn't sure it would work on screen. And yes, I'm talking about Claire's handy version of CPR. Mm-hmm. In the books, Claire didn't realize that he nearly died until the next morning. She wasn't trying to resuscitate him, but just to connect with him and keep him near. So the feel was a bit different, but they made it work on screen, and that made me really happy. That's all for now. See you next week.
You know, I got to say, a 4.8 from Kathy, Hall of Fame caller Kathy from Cleveland, is a pretty high rating. Marvin, your take on that. What do you think?
Okay, I love this episode, and I've been loving this season. Let's be real. I mean, everyone listening knows that. But Kathy, I'm glad you loved it too. I'm glad you loved it.
Let's get the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Deb from Huntersville, North Carolina.
Hey,
only
Deb.
2 hours from Fraser's Ridge.
All right.
I've never called before, and this is calling back to a couple episodes ago when somebody wrote in about a whoopee. And you wondered what a whoopee was. There was an old movie called Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton, and his child called her, or his blankie, a whoopee. And to this day, my grown daughter and I still use that term, and we both know what it means. Love your podcast. Bye.
Deb, we love you, and just for you, thank you very much for calling in. And,
I think I need to watch this movie. Is it a good movie, Mr. Mom?
It is a good movie. I've watched it a couple of times. It's a good film. I like it. It's Michael Keaton. How could you not love Michael? Everything that Michael Keaton is in is great.
What did he do? He did some recent kind of artsy movie where he was crabby. You know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all.
What was his most recent movie in the past 4 years, and he just looked mad?
Was it Birdman? Is that the one you're thinking of? That one, Best Picture.
I obviously didn't watch it, but I was like, why is Michael Keaton so crabby? Why was he it crabby? Why was it crabby?
Oh man, that is funny, man. That is funny.
Is it called Birdland?
No,
or
Birdman. Birdman.
Why is he a Birdman? Is he actually a bird?
Yeah, well, he is.
Stop.
It's actually. Well, listen. Let me finish. It was actually kind of a meta commentary because you know how Michael Keaton was once Batman. In the movie, Michael Keaton is an actor who plays an old superhero, and he thinks that he actually has superhero powers in his real life.
Okay. Is this one of those, like, this won Best Picture because it was, like, so different, or was this actually a good movie?
No, it's both. It's both. You know how 1917 was cut so that it looked like one single shot?
Yeah.
Same thing.
But it's crabby Michael Keaton.
But it's crabby Michael Keaton.
I don't need to see one single shot.
You know what he was?
Crabby.
You know what
Let's
Michael
move on.
Keaton? You know what Michael Keaton was great in? Like legitimately great. Spider-Man. Homecoming.
Did I see that one?
Yeah, it's the one in the Marvel universe. It was Tom Holland's first Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, I liked that one.
And he plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was legitimately great as the Vulture in Spider-Man. So
Let's get back to Outlander.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's leave Michael Keaton. I'm not impressed by him.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Blake. This is Tanya calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
With my GBGs for this week's episode. My good is Ian laying into Jamie as only a Frasier could. He threw down shade that would have made his mom proud. And
Yes.
Jamie took it in and heard what his nephew had to say. My bad this week was drama that didn't pay off. The first is Jamie getting his leg amputated. I just didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And all the bear flair in the world wasn't getting me to buy in. I just couldn't believe that they would bench their MVP. The second is Bree being steamrolled by a buffalo and not feeling any repercussions. As a mom, I get 100% the adrenaline that it takes to take that impact and get to your child. But to feel nothing afterwards had me saying, why all the drama? Why all the drama if Bree can take the hit like a rodeo clown and be perfectly fine? My great this week was Roger and Jamie. I loved all their scenes this episode and so happy that the animosity is gone. I look forward to what we get to see from them in the future. Thanks, everybody, and on to the next episode.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. And yes, getting steamrolled by a buffalo and having no repercussions whatsoever. She should at least have been like, oh my God, my shoulder. Like, that sucks. You know, like
She's
something.
like an Epsom salt bath or something.
All the lavender, you know, like everything that you possibly could get to just relax in a tub, you know?
Right?
Oh, all right, here we go. Let's go to the next one.
Hi, this is Ashley from Louisiana. I give this episode a kilt rating of a 5. I loved it. My good was all the different emotions we saw in Claire, who was clearly about to fall apart when she knew Jamie was in grave danger. I think we were all connecting with her and heartsick at the same time for Jamie. My bad was Roger's reactions in the woods the night Jamie got bit. He was either just too relaxed or way too confident that Jamie was not going to die from the snake bite because of the obituary clipping.
Correct.
And my great was Jamie busting in on Bree and Roger to go hunt down buffalo. Only because my husband and I live next door to my parents in the country, and we too get a lot of interruptions. When I saw this scene, I couldn't stop laughing because my dad actually did this one Christmas Eve morning to get my husband's help when a horse was caught in the fence. I related to this book so much because of all the ridge life and having family living right next door in the country.
Love it.
And I love seeing them on screen. Thanks, Mary and Blake, for all you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't think I could ever say that we've been interrupted like that, Mary. Have we ever been? I don't think we ever have.
By our children.
By our definitely by our kids. There was one time I was in our old apartment. I was taking a shower, and I was next to in our old apartment next to the bathroom was the kitchen, and Mary was in the kitchen, and you know I got out of the shower. I was in a towel. And, you know, we're a married couple. So I was walking around, you know, in my birthday suit. And
it was like 4 feet from bathroom. I'm talking about our apartment. Yeah. So it was like 4 feet from the bathroom to our room.
Correct. And Mary's dad walked into the apartment with no prior notice, with nothing, and just happened to see me walking around with nothing on but socks. Wasn't the best day of my life. He's like, yeah, well, it's nothing I haven't seen before. Thanks, Mr. Earl. Appreciate that. All right, let's get the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Melissa from Newcastle, Australia here.
Hi.
Long-time listener, first-time caller, and a long-time reader as well. I started reading Outlander about 15 years ago when in the doctor's lounge at the hospital I was doing my residency at. One of the other doctors recommended Outlander to me, and I've been hooked ever since, a bit like Joe Abernathy and Claire with the romance novel. And then coincidentally, the year after that, I actually moved to Scotland to continue my residency. So it was awesome to be able to live over there for a while. But to my GBGs, my good, as a long-time reader, the just how much they stuck to the book in this one, it was just awesome to see. My bad... for you, Mary, the CGI of the buffalo took you out of the show. For me, as a mum of 2 small boys, it's watching the child actors and Jemmy cry. I just imagine the poor mum of those child actors standing off stage, watching their poor child crying, and the actors just standing around, just not doing anything, and no one's comforting this poor child.
They're like, good job,
and my
keep it up.
Is watching the relationship between Jamie and Roger develop. I think so much of this season's been dominated by the relationship of Myrta and Jamie that we haven't been able to see that bond that's starting between Roger as the son of the house develop. I better go, but stay safe.
Looks like she got cut off. Thank you very much, and obviously for all the stuff that you do as a medical professional, doing your residency and everything. Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, let's get the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Faye calling from Sweden.
Hi, Faye.
I'm calling to suggest a new soundbite for the podcast.
Okay.
The soundbite I want to suggest is from the Eurythmics song, The Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves. The idea is to celebrate and acknowledge the moments of female empowerment and of when the women of Outlander are being absolute boss ladies, strong and independent, and getting things done. Outlander has a long history of strong female characters. Claire herself is the poster child for this. But there are many other more specific examples as well, all the way back from season 1. We had Jenny giving birth and then almost immediately jumping on a horse and taking off with Claire to track and find Jamie. We also had Galis giving herself up at the trial at Cranesmere. She wasn't all, oh, please save me, I'm a poor innocent woman. No, she was, hells yes, I'm the devil's wife, come and burn me. Love it. In Monsters and Heroes, we had several new examples of women being amazing while the men were mostly flopping about, feeling sorry for themselves, praying and quoting the Bible. Marsali gave birth by herself. Claire was her usual boss surgeon, and Brianna was not only trampled by a buffalo and then just walked it off, but also engineered a syringe out of a snake fang.
Yeah.
Especially in a time when women were nothing more than the property of their fathers and husbands, it would be great to celebrate them with the sisters are doing it for themselves. Thanks.
Love it.
Faye, great stuff, and great way to point that out. While a bunch of
badass ladies, man.
While a bunch of dudes are just walking around quoting Bibles and all that, women are getting stuff done. Women are powerful, ladies and gents. Women are powerful.
None of these ladies are like, I'm about to die.
Right.
No. They're like, whatever.
We got
I'm gonna keep on rolling.
I'm gonna go make a syringe out of a snake tooth. You keep talking about Corinthians, all right? Have fun with that. All right, let's get the next one.
Hey y'all, Anna here. So, episode 9. Well, everyone is back. They're here. Even Ian. Love to hate Jamie's death. Like the one.
It looks like she got cut off. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. I'm
Try again.
Try again next time. Okay. Let's get the next one.
Hey y'all, Anna here. So, episode 9. Well, everyone.
I'm just playing the same one. Sorry. Hold on. I messed that up. Hold on.
Hey, Mary and Blake. This is Karen from Indiana.
Hi, Karen.
I wanted to say how excited I am to finally be watching the same episode as you guys. I have been a season behind for probably the entire time Outlander has been on.
Oh, wow.
And I finally broke down and subscribed to Stars. And now I am caught up. I'm so excited.
All right, welcome.
Hashtag thanks, Rona. Anyway, I wanted to give my feedback for Monsters and Heroes. Overall, I give it 4.8 kilts. It's okay, but not the best. My good was Marsley giving birth in the woods. I mean, how amazing is she? She is my favorite character.
Yep.
My bad is all the blood and guts. We get plenty of that throughout the season and previous seasons with Claire's nursing. But, you know, this time it just seemed like way too much. And the best is the conversation between Bree and Claire about their callings. I thought it was great. And this was the first time, for some reason, that I really felt that Bree was Claire's daughter. They really felt like a mother-daughter couple.
Yes.
So anyway, I really love this show. I love you guys, and thanks for everything you do. Bye.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you, Karen. We love you too, and I appreciate that. That was, and you know what, Mary? I like that thought. It really feels like they're actually mother and daughter in this episode. Would you agree with that?
I do. I love it.
Have you felt the same way as Karen has, that their relationship has been one that is a good one, but it just doesn't feel like they have that kind of oomph to their relationship of being mother and daughter, but they finally earned it. In previous episodes, do you feel like their relationship was lacking in terms of their how close they are and the way they interacted?
Bree and Claire did not have like the most hunky-dory, I want to hug you all the time and bake muffins with you. You're the best mom ever. You're the best daughter ever. All I ever want to do is just sit down and braid your hair.
Sure.
Okay. Bree was daddy's daughter, not dad's daughter, daddy's daughter.
Yes.
And she knew that there was all this issues between Claire and Frank. And Claire, of course, did have to spend a lot of time away. And then it comes out that Claire tells Bree, your daddy wasn't even your daddy. I mean, they've had a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I believed their issues on screen based upon their background.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that going through these momentous things now together is bringing them closer. I have felt very close with them. I particularly felt close when Bree talked to Claire about being raped.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was a very, very big moment between the two of them. But in this moment, actually, when Claire is breaking down to Bree, that's when I got to see them as more female equals as well. And I think that's very important in adult relationships, is to be there for each other.
Yep, totally agree. All right, we get the last one here. As always, ladies and gents, if you want to check in with us on your listener feedback episodes and you want to leave voicemails, just go right to outlandercast.com. Hit the engage button when you see it in the menu. When you hit that button, you'll see a drop down that says voicemail. Click that, and then you'll see a button that says speak pipe. Hit that, and it will record your voice directly from the microphone of your smart tablet or your smartphone, and it sounds pissa. Sounds like you're in the studio, and I like it. So are you ready for the last one, Marvin?
I am.
Let's do it.
Hi, it's Angela in New Jersey. Wow, this was my favorite episode of the season so far. Outstanding. Thank you, Outlander, for keeping this episode so in the spirit of the book. I was so impressed. I have been waiting forever to see some shred of relationship between Roger and Jamie, which is one of my favorite relationships in the entire series. Personally, I think they have been too constrained getting here, but I'm so thankful that we are finally here. These characters and relationships came through so authentically in this very important and favorite section of the story. Another thing I loved was the amount of dialogue straight from the book. This allows the true characters, relationships, and spirit to shine. This really felt like Outlander.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It also included the blend of community, heart, and humor that is Diana's trademark.
Yes.
As for the buffalo scene, I know some people didn't like it. I love that they included it. This episode highlights a lot of role reversal and irony, and this is a big part of that aspect. I love the community spirit. Everyone had a hand in saving the Laird, including Roger and Bree.
Yep.
With regard to the beautiful intimate scene with Jamie and Claire, just remember that Claire is a somewhat empathic healer for those that she is connected to, and she would instinctively know what would help Jamie to stay with her. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I think, again, there's some things that science just can't explain. I mean, it is what it is. And, I don't know if I've seen evidence of Claire being that kind of healer yet within the show itself. But I'm not willing to say it isn't possible, especially as it relates to Jamie, who is the love of her life.
Well, she's been referenced as being an unbelievable healer, not just because of her knowledge that she has from the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just really has this amazing ability. We got to see it even way back in France, with Mother Hildegard really kind of calling her out. So we've been able to see this just next level of healing capabilities that Claire has.
Sure. All right, well, that is it for the voicemails, Marvin. That is the end. Normally, we would do the trailer for the next episode at this point.
You can try it.
No, I'm not going to try it. And the reason why I'm not...
because I'll disappear.
You'll disappear, number one, and
Okay.
then number two... I mean, I could bring it up as a... I mean, I could probably split screen between you two, but I don't want to lose the feed that's live right now, and I don't want to lose anything that's happening as of this moment.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, ladies and gents. You know what we'll probably do is I'll probably do a separate something from the podcast. I'll probably put it on social media, a reaction to the trailer, and maybe us talking about it in some form or fashion.
Just you alone in the basement talking about it by yourself as we await your test results.
Who else? I think it's a great idea. Who else would want to spend more time with me, just alone in my basement?
You're gonna be like Cave Jamie when you come out.
Yes,
all disheveled.
my beard will be 2 millimeters longer. Yes, can't wait for that, because ladies and gents, I could shave for I could not shave for about a month, and my beard would still be the same length that it is today.
No, we've seen your beard grow.
I'm just not a hairy man. I'm full dolphin, and I'm proud of it. So that's how we'll do it. Anything else, Marvin, before we close out this bad boy? Any closing thoughts? Any closing takes?
So we're not doing the trailer, or you're going to do the trailer by yourself?
I think I'll do the trailer
tomorrow?
by myself, maybe tomorrow
Okay.
on the various social medias.
Because you do know that everybody's going to pretty much be watching the episode midnight tomorrow, right? So you got to hurry up on this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe you can do it tonight.
I'm not going to do it tonight. I've had three. Mary's dropping stuff everywhere. Just drop the very expensive iPad that we bought. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
An iPad Pro just down the tubes. Goodbye.
Hey, I'm as official as like Kelly Ripa right now. Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out, and we'll put something up on the social media. And I'm not doing it tonight because I've had 3 White Claws and I'm already feeling pretty good. So I'm not going to make it any worse. I'm going to be heading to bed in a little bit.
You are like a 22-year-old girl.
I know.
I've already had like 3 White Claws and I'm feeling pretty good.
You guys want to go out? Let's go to the club. Oh, you know what? The quarantine's already getting to me, ladies and gents.
It sure
and it's
is,
only been a
man.
couple hours.
Maybe you'll watch Birdman tonight. Who knows? You'll get crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Let's close this bad boy out, and hopefully on Monday you'll be back in studio, Marvin, and everything will be back to normal. And I get to see my bride because
I'm trying to Sanny wipe everything.
I know. I just, this is not, I can already tell this ain't going to work for me. This quarantine away from my bride, not going to work.
Hey, but at least we can do this, right? Thank you to technology that we can remote podcast. And
that's right.
We're making it happen.
That's right.
As weird as it is.
So, all right, let's close it out and let's do it.
Okay. We do want to take a moment to thank all of you who have recently joined OutlanderCast.com. especially if you are able to contribute and support us during these times. Would be greatly appreciated. And so many of you have been joining, even for as little as $2 a month. Just going to OutlanderCastClan.com gets you all these additional benefits. And we want to thank our most generous patrons, our associate producers, Angie, Candy, Carolyn, Celine, Christine, Dawn, Diane, Jeffrey, Jennifer, Karen, Marilyn, Mo, Patricia, Sivan, Stephanie, and Valerie, as well as our co-producers, Amanda, Anne-Leigh, Barbara, Dana, Janet, Keelin, LoriEllen, Maryanne, Meredith, Raynel, Sharon, Tina, and Whitney. And last but certainly not least, our executive producers, Anne, Bobbi, D. Leach, Jenn, Katy, Kirstie, Martha, Nadra, Peg, Sara, and S.E.
SE is a brand new, as we were podcasting, a brand new executive producer.
Thank you. I wish I knew SE's real first name so I could say it properly.
Well, SEB, whoever you are, you literally just did it while we were in the middle of our podcast. So thank you very much for becoming our brand new, our newest executive producer, which I'm very excited about.
And here's the thing, guys. We are going to be doing additional content for members of the Outlander Cast clan once Droughtlander hits. We, of course, always have content coming on through our amazing staff of OutlanderCast.com. We have bloggers, we have social media, we have newsletters, we have events. We're hopefully doing some kind of a virtual little, fun little event for the finale. But if you are a member of OutlanderCastClan.com, we will be bringing you additional content as well, just as a thank you while we go through Droughtlander.
Yes, that's right. And so just keep an eye on all the things that are happening on OutlanderCastClan.com, and keep an eye on all the things that are happening on Maryanne Blake and all the things that we're doing. Hopefully during Droughtlander we come up with another show that we can podcast about, so we're not totally silent for the entire time. Or we keep making good Outlander content, which at least once a month we will do. It's just a question of what it will be.
Part of it will be a book club.
Yes. Again, like I said last episode, I will probably take a step away from the book from Outlander for at least a month to just reset and get my life back in order.
Well, and if you think about it too, it's like you would be reading Voyager.
Yes.
While we're here now watching Fiery Cross. So
Right.
you get to get all nice and fresh. But yeah, we'll be coming at you with some fun stuff. We'll, of course, pick back up the Crown podcast that we were working on. Keep calm and Crown on.
That's what I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's really good. And we're also considering the creation of a brand new show that we're just going to do whenever the hell we feel like it, is the Maryanne Blake Show. Where we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, and we talk about it whenever the hell we want to talk about it, and it'll be up on YouTube, and it'll more than likely be up on iTunes. And if we have enough requests for it, we have enough popularity for it, enough need and desire for it, we will do it. And Mary, I have to make a special call out to someone who is very special to the show, someone who has helped us today in immense ways. Harry Potter joining us today in studio. Harry didn't say much today. I don't think he's read Outlander. I don't think he's done it. And I think he only watched maybe episode 1 or 2 of season 1. So I don't think he had a lot to say. But, Harry, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Stepping in for Mary in
Don't
studio.
let the muggles get you down, Harry.
So, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this on the podcast, joining us on Facebook Live, and all the other various platforms that we're going live on at this moment. If you are sending prayers my way to whatever gods that you believe in, thank you, but do not send them to me. Send them to Mary for all of the work that she will be doing with our children and all the things that will be happening. So that is that. As for now, ladies and gents,
My name's Mary.
my name's Blake.
And you've been listening to Outlander Cast.